What if the reason you can't let go of someone has nothing to do with love? What if the real thing keeping you trapped is a hidden attachment that the Stoic philosophers warned about nearly 2,000 years ago? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 10 powerful Stoic rules that can help you break free from emotional pain, regain control of your mind, and finally find the peace you've been searching for. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that the person who once controlled your emotions no longer has power over your mind. No more overthink. No more checking their social media. No more replaying memories at 3 a.m. Sounds impossible. The Stoics believed emotional freedom was possible for anyone willing to understand these 10 life-changing rules. Most people spend years trying to forget someone they can't have. But according to Marcus Aurelius, that's the wrong battle. The real battle is against something much deeper, and until you defeat it, you'll remain emotionally trapped. Today, I'm going to share 10 Stoic rules that have helped countless people let go, heal faster, and find inner peace, even after heartbreak. He person who broke your heart may not be the reason you're suffering. In fact, according to Stoicism, your pain is being caused by something far more dangerous, something happening inside your own mind. Once you understand this, you'll never look at heartbreak the same way again. Stay until the end, because rule number 10 is the lesson that transformed heartbreak into strength for some of history's greatest. Stoic mindset. It may completely change the way you see your own pain. Opening hook, there is a pain that doesn't leave visible scars. A pain that follows you into the morning, sits beside you during lunch, and lies awake with you at night. It is the pain of holding on to someone who is no longer meant for your life. Maybe they left. Maybe they changed. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Or maybe they simply became a stranger, carrying the face you once loved. And yet, despite everything, your mind keeps returning to them. You replay old conversations. You revisit memories. You imagine different outcomes. You wonder what you could have done differently. Stoics understood this suffering thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca knew that emotional attachment can become a prison when we cling to things beyond our control. Today, we're going to explore 10 powerful Stoic rules that will help you let go of someone, reclaim your inner peace, and become emotionally free. Not by becoming cold, not by pretending you don't care, but by becoming stronger than your pain. Let's begin. Rule 1. Accept that you never owned them the first. Stoic rule is perhaps the most difficult. Accept that you never owned them. Most heartbreak begins with an illusion. The illusion that another person belongs to us. We say things like, my partner, my person, my soulmate, my forever. But Stoicism asks us to pause and question this belief. Can any human truly belong to another human? The answer is no. Every person has their own thoughts, their own desires, their own dreams, their own freedom. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that everything in life is borrowed. Your possessions are borrowed. Reputation is borrowed. Your body is borrowed. Even the people you love are borrowed. Nature allows them to walk beside you for a period of time. Then one day, nature may take them elsewhere. The suffering begins when we confuse a temporary gift with permanent ownership. Think about holding water in your hands. If you grip tightly, the water escapes. If you hold gently, you can appreciate it while it remains. Relationships are the same. Many people spend years saying, they were mine, But the Stoics would say, no, they were with you. That small difference changes everything. When someone leaves, it feels as though something has been stolen, but nothing was stolen. A chapter is simply ended. Imagine enjoying a beautiful sunset. When darkness arrives, do you become angry? Do you accuse the sun of abandoning you? Of course not. You appreciate that the sunset was never meant to last forever. People enter our lives in the same way. Some stay for decades. Some stay for months. Some stay only long enough to teach us an important lesson. Your task is not to own them. Your task is to appreciate them while they are present, and when they leave, to have the wisdom to release them. This acceptance is the first step toward emotional freedom. Rule 2. Separate reality from fantasy. One of the greatest obstacles to letting go is that most people are not attached to reality. They are attached to fantasy. When someone leaves your life, your mind becomes selective. It begins creating a highlight reel. You remember their smile, their laugh, the beautiful moments, the romantic memories. But what about the arguments, the disappointments, the broken promises, the sleepless nights, the disrespect, the incompatibilities? The mind conveniently forgets these things. Epictetus taught that people suffer not from events themselves, but from their judgments about those events. In other words, the pain often comes from the story we tell ourselves. Many people don't miss who someone actually was. They miss who they imagined they could become. This distinction is crucial. Ask yourself honestly, did I love the real person, or did I love my idea of them? Did I love their actual character, or did I love their potential? Many relationships survive only because of hope. Hope that they will change. Hope that they will become more loving, more loyal, more mature, more committed. But hope can become a trap, because eventually we stop loving reality and start loving fantasy. The Stoic seeks truth above comfort. Truth may hurt at first, but it liberates. Fantasy feels good at first, but eventually it traps. U.S. Write down everything, honestly. Not just the good memories. The entire picture. The moments you felt neglected. The moments you felt unseen. The moments you compromised your peace. When reality becomes clearer, attachment becomes weaker, and freedom becomes possible. Rule 3. Focus only on what you control. This is the foundation of all Stoic philosophy. There are things within your control and things outside your control. Outside your control, their feelings, their choices, their loyalty, their honesty, their commitment, their decision to stay within your control. Your mindset, your character, your actions, your habits, your future. The tragedy is that most people spend 90% of their energy fighting reality. They obsess over questions they cannot answer. Why did they leave? Do they miss me? Will they come back? Are they thinking about me? Who are they with now? These questions create emotional slavery, because the answers depend on another person. And anything that depends on another person can never bring lasting peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Read that again. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Every day you spend chasing answers is another day. Your peace remains in someone else's hands. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack. Every unanswered question is another stone inside it. The Stoic approach is simple. Put the backpack down. You do not need every answer. You only need acceptance. The moment you stop trying to control another person's decisions, your emotional burden becomes lighter. You regain your power, because power begins where control exists, and control begins with your self-rule. 4. Stop reopening old wounds. Imagine a doctor treating a deep wound. The wound begins healing. New skin starts forming. Recovery is underway, but every day the patient tears the wound open again. Would healing ever occur? Of course not. Yet this is exactly what many people do emotionally. They check social media, they read old messages, they watch old videos, they stalk profiles, they ask mutual friends for updates. Then they wonder why they still hurt. The answer is simple. Because the wound is never allowed to heal. Stoicism teaches discipline over impulse. Your emotions may urge you to look. Your curiosity may demand answers. Your loneliness may seek comfort. But wisdom asks a different question. Will this action help my healing? If the answer is no, don't do it. Every unnecessary reminder strengthens attachment. Every visit to the past delays your future. The Stoics understood that. Attention is power. Whatever receives your attention grows. If you constantly feed memories, memories grow stronger. If you constantly feed pain, pain grows stronger. But if you redirect attention toward growth, purpose, and self-improvement, healing grows stronger. The next time you're tempted to revisit the past, pause, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I healing this wound or reopening it? Your answer will reveal the path forward. Rule 5. Understand that loss is part of life. Perhaps the greatest Stoic lesson is this: loss is not an exception to life. Loss is part of life. Most suffering comes from expecting permanence in a temporary world. We expect relationships to last forever. We expect circumstances to remain unchanged. We expect happiness to stay. But nature has different plans. Everything changes. Everything evolves. Everything eventually ends. The Stoics practiced an exercise called M-A-L-O-R-U-M. This means imagining future losses before they happen. Not to become negative, but to become prepared. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself that everyone he loved was mortal. Seneca would reflect on the temporary nature of all things. This practice made them grateful rather than fearful. When you understand that loss is inevitable, appreciation increases. You stop taking people for granted. You stop assuming forever. You become present. Many people resist reality by saying, "This shouldn't have happened." But Stoicism asks, why shouldn't it have happened? People leave. Relationships end. Hearts break. This has happened throughout human history. You are not being singled out. You are experiencing a universal human condition. Understanding this doesn't eliminate pain, but it transforms pain into wisdom, because you stop fighting reality. There is a question that separates strong people from broken people. It is not, why did this happen to me? It is, what can this teach me? Most people spend years trapped inside the first question. They replay events endlessly. They search for explanations. They blame others. They blame themselves. And while they are searching for reasons, life continues moving forward without them. The Stoics viewed pain differently. They believed that every hardship contains a lesson hidden beneath the suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle itself becomes the way. In other words, the thing causing your pain can become the very thing that strengthens you. Think about physical exercise. When you enter a gym, you deliberately place your muscles under stress. The resistance creates discomfort. The discomfort creates growth. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without difficulty, there is no development. The same principle applies emotionally. Heartbreak can teach patience. Rejection can teach self-respect. Betrayal can teach wisdom. The loss can teach gratitude. Discipline, tormento, can teach resilience. The question is whether you choose to learn. Many people repeat the same mistakes because they focus only on the pain and ignore the lesson. A failed relationship often reveals truths we were unwilling to see. Maybe you ignored red flags. Maybe you tolerated disrespect. Maybe you sacrificed your identity to keep someone happy. Maybe you depended on another person for your self-worth. These realizations may be uncomfortable, but discomfort is often the beginning of transformation. Seneca believed that adversity reveals character. Anyone can appear strong when life is easy, but when loss arrives, your true character emerges. Pain strips away illusions. Pain exposes weaknesses. Pain reveals where growth is needed. And although this process feels brutal, it is also valuable. Look back at the most difficult periods of your life. Were they comfortable? Probably not. Were they enjoyable? Probably not. But did they shape you? Absolutely. Most wisdom is purchased through suffering. The person you become after heartbreak often possesses greater emotional intelligence, stronger boundaries, deeper and a clearer understanding of what truly matters. This does not mean you should seek pain. It means you should not waste it. When suffering enters your life, extract every lesson it contains. Ask yourself, what did this experience reveal about me? What patterns must I change? What boundaries must I strengthen? What standards must I raise? What habits must I abandon? Pain without learning becomes suffering. Pain with learning becomes growth, and growth transforms tragedy into strength. One day you may realize that losing someone gave you something more valuable than their presence. It gave you wisdom, and wisdom stays long after people leave. Rule 7. Build a life that doesn't depend on one person. One of the greatest dangers in life is making one person the center of your universe. Many people do this without realizing it. Their happiness depends on one person. Their motivation depends on one person. Their confidence depends on one person. Their future depends on one person. Their emotional stability depends on one person. And when that person leaves, everything collapses. The Stoics warned against placing your happiness in external things. Because external things can disappear, people change, circumstances change, life changes, anything outside your control can be taken away. This is why emotional independence is so important. Emotional independence does not mean isolation. It does not mean refusing love. It does not mean avoiding relationships. It means understanding that your peace must come from within. Imagine a table supported by one leg. How stable would it be? Not very stable. Now imagine a table supported by many strong legs. Purpose.health, family, friendships.faith, learning, discipline, personal growth, service, meaningful work. This table is difficult to shake. The same principle applies to life. When your happiness rests on multiple foundations, losing one foundation becomes painful, but survivable. Many people discover after heartbreak that they neglected themselves. They abandoned hobbies, ignored personal goals, stopped pursuing growth, lost touch with friends, forgot their purpose. Everything revolved around one relationship. Stoicism encourages us to reclaim ownership of our lives. Use this period as an opportunity. Return to neglected dreams. Develop new skills. Improve your physical health. Read more. Learn more. Create more. Build more. Strengthen your character. Remember this powerful truth. You existed before that person entered your life, and you will continue existing after they leave. Your identity is bigger than any relationship. Your future is bigger than any breakup. Your purpose is bigger than any disappointment. Do not make one human being responsible for your entire happiness. That burden is too heavy for anyone to carry. Instead, create a life so rich with meaning that your joy does not depend on another person's presence, because when happiness comes from within, no one can take it away. Rule 8. Their actions reflect them. Not you. One of the deepest wounds caused by heartbreak is the damage it does to self-worth. Someone leaves. Someone cheats. Someone lies. Someone betrays. And immediately, the mind begins asking painful questions. Am I not enough? What's wrong with me? Why wasn't I worth staying for? Why did they choose someone else? Why wasn't my love enough? These questions feel natural, but they are built on a dangerous assumption. The assumption that another person's behavior defines your value. Stoicism rejects this idea completely. The actions of others reveal their character, not yours. If someone lies, they reveal their honesty. If someone cheats, they reveal their integrity. If someone abandons responsibilities, they reveal their maturity. Their behavior is evidence of who they are, not evidence of who you are. Imagine someone throwing mud at a diamond. Does the diamond lose its value? Of course not. The mud simply reveals something about the person throwing it. Yet many people allow another person's poor decisions to become their identity. A betrayal occurs, and suddenly they believe they are unworthy. Rejection occurs, and suddenly they believe they are unattractive. A breakup occurs, and suddenly they believe they are unlovable. This is emotional self-destruction. Epictetus taught that we should judge ourselves by our own actions and character, not by the opinions or decisions of others. Ask yourself, were you honest? Were you loyal? Did you act with integrity? Did you treat them with respect? Did you genuinely try? If the answer is yes, then your character remains intact. And character is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Many people spend years seeking validation from those who fail to appreciate them. But self-respect begins when you stop asking others to confirm your worth. Your value is not determined by who stays. Your value is not determined by who leaves. Your value is not determined by who chooses you. Your value is determined by your character. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that another person's opinion cannot harm him unless he allows it. The same principle applies here. Do not surrender your self-worth to someone else's choices. Their actions belong to them. Your dignity belongs to you. Protect it, guard it. Never hand it over to someone who does not deserve it. Transition to part 3 at this point. You've learned. You never owned them. You must separate reality from fantasy. You should focus only on what you control. You must stop reopening old wounds. You need to accept loss as part of life. You can use pain as a teacher. You must build a life beyond one person. And you must remember that their actions reflect them, not you. But 2 of the most powerful Stoic lessons still remain. The lessons that transform emotional pain into lasting inner peace. One of the biggest misconceptions about Stoicism is that it teaches people to become emotionless. Many people imagine a Stoic as someone cold, distant, and incapable of feeling, but nothing could be further from the truth. Marcus Aurelius loved deeply. Seneca experienced grief. Epictetus understood suffering. The Stoics were not trying to eliminate emotions. They were trying to master them. There is a huge difference. Suppression means pretending you don't feel pain. Detachment means feeling the pain without becoming controlled by it. Suppression says, I'm fine, even when you're falling apart inside. Detachment says, I am hurting right now, but this pain does not own me. Many people attempt to heal by denying their emotions. They distract themselves endlessly. They pretend nothing happened. They bury their feelings beneath work, entertainment, or new relationships. But buried emotions don't disappear. They wait. And eventually, they return stronger than before. The Stoics encouraged honest observation. Imagine sitting beside a river. The river represents your emotions. Sadness flows past. Anger flows past. Loneliness flows past. Disappointment flows past. Notice something important. The river keeps moving. No emotion stays forever, but when you jump into the river, the current carries you away. This is what happens when emotions control your life. A sad thought appears. You follow it. Another sad thought appears. You follow that too. Soon you're drowning in memories and regret. Detachment means remaining on the riverbank, observing without becoming consumed. You acknowledge the sadness, but you don't become sadness. You acknowledge the anger, but you don't become anger. You acknowledge the grief, but you don't become grief. This distinction changes everything. Many people fear emotional pain because they believe it will last forever. But every emotion has a lifespan. No storm continues indefinitely. No winter lasts forever. No night defeats the sunrise. Your emotions are temporary visitors. Treat them as guests rather than masters. Welcome them. Listen to them. Learn from them. Then allow them to leave. The Stoics understood that emotional suffering often grows when we resist reality. We tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way. I should be over this by now. I shouldn't still be sad. These thoughts create a second layer of suffering. Not only are you hurting, but you're judging yourself for hurting. Instead, practice acceptance. Say, I am grieving. I am disappointed. I am lonely. And that's okay. These feelings are part of being human. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to remain wise while emotions pass through you. Imagine a mountain during a storm. Rain falls. Thunder roars. Winds crash against its surface, yet the mountain remains standing. The Stoics wanted to become like that mountain, not because storms don't exist, but because storms cannot move it. Your emotions may shake you, but they do not have to define you. They do not have to control you. They do not have to determine your future. Observe them. Respect them. Learn from them. Then let them pass. This is emotional freedom. This is Stoic detachment. And this is the beginning of inner peace. Rule 10. Become the person you needed during your hardest days. The final Stoic rule is perhaps the most transformative. Become the person you needed during your hardest days. Think back to the moment when your pain felt unbearable. The sleepless nights, the tears, the anxiety, the heartbreak, the confusion, the loneliness. Think about the version of yourself that existed during that time. What did that person need? Did they need more strength, more confidence, more self-respect, more discipline, more wisdom, more courage? Most people spend years wishing someone else would save them. Someone else would understand them. Someone else would heal them. Someone else would complete them. But Stoicism teaches a different lesson. The person you've been waiting for is you. You become your own source of strength. You become your own protector. You become your own guide. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, betrayal, and unimaginable pressure. Yet he continually reminded himself to focus on his own character, because character is the one thing nobody can take away. Relationships can end. Money can disappear. Health can decline. Opportunities can vanish. But your character remains. And every painful experience gives you an opportunity to strengthen it. Imagine two people experiencing the same heartbreak. The first person becomes bitter. They lose trust. They become angry. They blame the world. Years pass, and they remain trapped in the same emotional prison. The second person chooses a different path. They learn. They grow. They reflect. They become wiser. They become stronger. Years later, the pain still happened, but it transformed them instead of destroying them. The difference was not the heartbreak. The difference was the response. This is the essence of Stoicism. Life does not determine who you become. Your response to life determines who you become. Every setback contains a choice. Every disappointment contains a choice. Every betrayal contains a choice. You can allow pain to make you smaller, or you can allow pain to make you stronger. The obstacle becomes the way. The wound becomes wisdom. The struggle becomes strength. One day you may look back and realize something surprising. The person who hurt you was not the most important part of your story. The person you became afterward was, because heartbreak forced you to grow. Loss forced you to mature. Pain forced you to discover strength you never knew existed. Many people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. The Stoics embraced it, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood its power. Fire does not destroy gold. It reveals gold. Pressure does not destroy diamonds. It creates diamonds. Difficulty does not destroy character. It reveals character. You are stronger than you think, wiser than you realize, more resilient than you know. And every challenge you survive becomes evidence of that truth. So stop asking why this happened. Start asking who this experience is helping you become. That question changes everything. Because healing is not about returning to who you were. Healing is about becoming someone stronger, someone wiser, someone calmer, someone more disciplined, someone more self-aware, someone who no longer needs validation from people who cannot appreciate their value, someone who understands that peace comes from within, someone who can love deeply without becoming dependent, someone who can lose without being destroyed, someone who can suffer without. That person is waiting on the other side of your pain. Keep moving forward. Powerful closing. If you remember nothing else from today's message, remember this: you never owned them, you never controlled them, and you never needed them to become whole. The Stoics teach us that peace begins where attachment ends, not because love is wrong, but because clinging is. People will come into your life. People will leave your life. Some will teach you how to love. Others will teach you how to let go. Both lessons are valuable. Do not waste your life chasing people who have chosen another path. Do not sacrifice your future to preserve a past that no longer exists. Do not surrender your peace to someone who no longer occupies your life. Instead, focus on what remains: your character, your purpose, your growth, your wisdom, your future. Because at the end of the day, the greatest victory is not getting someone back. The greatest victory is getting yourself back. And perhaps the most powerful Stoic truth of all is this: the moment you stop needing someone to complete you is the moment you become truly free. So, stand tall. Move forward. Trust the process. And remember, what you lost may have broken your heart, but what you gain can transform your life forever. Thank you for listening. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on which Stoic rule you need most right now. Your journey toward emotional freedom starts today.